Let's talk about your team and how you decide when to hire, who to hire, and honestly, let's talk about the event team that I had at the Power of Paid Ad Summit and what roles people played and how did I know how to have different roles, who did what, why, and just talk all things team, if that sounds good to you. I'm going to share with you some thoughts, even outside of just the event team specifically, about how I like to approach the team and hiring and what that looks like. So I'm going to talk to you about a lot of things that relate to, when do you do it? What does it look like? All that. So I even wrote down some notes per usual. I've got some stuff here, but Emily Rowlett, her and Rachel Altry own a company called Rally, and they are in my mastermind. And Emily was listening to the episode about the summit, the previous one, and she was like, "I have questions about the team because there, at the end of the summit, I had my team come on stage, and I thanked them." Person after person after person. And I had a few people actually share that that was such a good demonstration of actually visually seeing how big the team was at understanding what size team it takes to put on an event like we did. And so I wrote down like all the people who were part of that team, how I made decisions, and knowing that what their role should be. So I'm just going to rapid fire through some of these questions and thoughts that you may have about hiring and delegating a team. And the first piece of advice I'm going to give you is to go read the book 10X is easier than 2X. It is linked below this episode. That's actually required reading in my mastermind. I'm like, hey, if we're gonna work together, let's be on the same page about how we think about 10Xing our business. Let's do it. Let's speak the language together. So I'll link to the book below. And so there's also this book called Who Not How, and I'm not finished with it, but it's also really, really good. So I'll link that one too. So just giving you some other perspective from people that I have learned from. And also, before we jump into the questions and giving feedback, I want to share with you two things. Number one, the Win with Paid Ads challenge. The next one you can go ahead and pre-register for. We sold out of the VIP nearly a week prior. So if you want that feedback and that coaching and that collaborative VIP room, then you're going to want to go ahead and register for it now, even though it's going to be a little while until we do the next one. It depends on when you're listening to this episode, actually. So if you want to register for the Win with Paid Ads challenge, that you can learn the strategy to actually become findable automatically every single day, then click the link below and join the Win with Paid Ads challenge. The other thing is, depending on when you listen to this, if you're listening to it kind of in real time, it's early February as I record this, I'm actually launching a book. Okay. And I'm launching it near the end of this month. And if you would like to be a part of that book launch crew and just help more people find this book and celebrate and just be a part of this team, if anything that I've ever taught you has added value to your life or encouraged you or helped you become findable or helped you with your ads, it would just mean a lot to me to have your support on this book launch. We're going for a really, really big goal with the book launch. And I've learned so much from my book coach, Michaela Matthews. She is also in my mastermind and is blowing up. So if you want to write a book, I would get in touch with her quickly before you're going to have to be in line to get her autograph with how popular she is. I'll link to Michaela's Instagram below this. I just love loving on my people. It's just who I am. Anyway, I've learned so much from her and we've got this big goal and it would just mean so much to have your support on it. So if you are curious about being on the book launch team, I want you to email info@ashleybrock.com and say book launch team in the headline, and we'll let you know how you can get started on that. We have a few uh, ways that you could support. So grateful for you for even considering that. All right, let's jump in to team stuff. So the first person I hired was Laura Beth Denton. And Laura Beth, people always ask, like, where did you find Laura Beth? She is just a gift from God. Like, I don't know what else to explain. Like, she's just such a wonderful human. And what's cool is we were actually friends before we worked together, but it was actually in high school. So we went to high school together. We were very close. I spent the night in a sleeping bag on her parents' floor in her basement with all my high school friends. And because we in high school, I mean, I don't know the story behind this, but we definitely didn't drink at all. We just drank a bunch of hot chocolate and ate McDoubles from McDonald's after football games. And then we would all go spend the night at Laura Beth's house because she had the biggest house with the basement and her parents were awesome. She had a pool, like she had the cool house. You know what I mean? And so we just wanted to be there. And so we were friends in high school. Then in college, I went to Georgia. She went to North Georgia. So we kind of like stayed in touch a little bit. I think I might have saw her once or twice over college. And then I decided after working in paid advertising, it was probably, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 years in, I decided to create a course called How to Land a Job in Digital Marketing. That course was an absolute flop. I spent 200 hours. I'm not kidding, at minimum, 200 hours researching how to launch a course, how to build a website, how to use Kajabi. I did build my course on Kajabi, my current one as well. I'll link to Kajabi. I highly recommend Kajabi if you're a course creator or have an online training situation. So I'll link to Kajabi below. It's what I use. And I was doing Kajabi on my own. I didn't know how to use it. So I was watching videos, like Googling how to use its own platform, like how to create an offer in Kajabi, Kajabi training. Like that's what I would type in. So I self-taught. I was Googling how to get an LLC set up. I was Googling how to open a business bank account. I mean, I was just figuring every single thing out. And so I built the whole business from every email to every ad to every website, everything. I did it all on my own before or after my full-time job while I had a small human. So it was wild, right? Because I had a baby, had a full-time job, and then was just spending every minute before and after. Like I had probably a year where I didn't scroll on Facebook or Instagram at all. I was like, I just wanted to get this business started. And I had spent so much time, so much energy, so much money before even getting a sale, and then made this course that like absolutely didn't sell. Now, granted, I didn't advertise it very well, which is so funny looking back. I'm like, why didn't you run ads to your course? I would have thought. But at the time, it was like about how to get a job. Like I wasn't selling the ability to teach and help you grow your business with advertising yet, right? Like I was so good at advertising, but the idea of teaching people advertising, like truly all in, hadn't crossed my mind. Which is so funny because I was consulting on the side, doing all this stuff, helping business owners left and right. But like the idea was like, oh, people just need a job in marketing because it's so fun. They should do it. This is a great job to have. And created this course. It went terribly. Laura Beth was one of the only people that bought it. And she did not get a job in digital marketing. But what she did do is she told me, she said, Ashley, when this thing takes off, because I know that it will, I would love to be a part of it. And I was like, that is so kind. And I'll never forget that comment. And so when I got to a place where I was like, okay, I'm actually creating this course on like teaching people how to do ads. And I had done it and done it on my own. Like I was the one sending confirmation emails. I was the one following up. I was the sales. I was the marketing. I was the technology. I was the hire. I was everything, right? I'm wearing every hat as you do when you just get started because you're the only one that can at the beginning. And so I finally was like, okay, I need help. Like I'm actually getting sales. We're actually generating some revenue here. I had some clients have some big wins. If you've been listening to the podcast, you've heard so many of them. I actually have so many wins. I can't wait to share with you on the podcast this year. I'm like, okay, that's on my to-do list of like meet with my clients and share their stories. So I'm going to do more of that. Anyway, Laura Beth's thought remained with me. And so I reached out to her and I was like, Laura Beth, there might be something here. What are your thoughts on working hourly? And so I ended up paying her for 10 hours a week hourly at the beginning. And I told her, I was like, I can't afford what I want to pay you, but here's what I can do right now. And she's like, I'm in. And I was like, here's the dream. And here's what's so important with you when you delegate and what you like the mindset I want you to have about it is sell the people working with you. As long as you believe. I mean, don't sell people on a false belief, right? But if you believe in your core that your business is going to grow and you've got the data that's helping you make a decision to hire because you know that there's scalability here, uh, just sell them on the vision. That's what I do. Every person I'm about to share with you, I was like, hey, there is a big opportunity here long term. And if you're okay with not having instant gratification of drastically great income immediately, there's a play in this company where we are going to change lives. We're going to change families. We're going to change generations. We're going to change the way that women run businesses for the rest of their life. We're going to allow them to have the business and be found and actually grow and do all the things. And I sold them on the vision. And I was like, I will pay you more. I promise. It is my priority to say, how much can I pay Laura Beth? How much can I pay every person on my team? And I'm going to share with you kind of how I've approached some of that stuff so you can see where we're at. But uh, she was in. She was in on the belief. And I think it's so important for you to find someone who does not demand instant gratification immediately when you are just beginning and starting to grow a company. Like I get there's going to be a place where it's like I'm going to have a position where I'm like, hey, this is the starting salary. It's going to be great. But initially it's just like you got to do what you got to do. Because profitability, like my job and your job as a business owner is to maintain and grow profitability so that you can have a business. Because if you don't have profit, you don't have a business. I mean, you can still have a business. It's just it's you can't have no profit for so long, you know what I mean? Because the business will die. So I was like, here's where we're at. And she was all in. And so that was, let's see, timing wise, it was probably, let's see, it was 2022. It was the end of 2022. Okay, so at the end of 2022, I was like, hey, can you do part-time? And then the beginning of 2023, so like a couple months, honestly, because I was preparing for my first summit. Well, she showed up from Idaho in January, and I remember telling Kyle, I don't have the money to pay her, but I need to pay her because I just read in this book that the only way to grow is to invest in your team and to delegate. He's like, yeah, that's how businesses work. And I'm like, oh, all right, well, I'm ready for that. And I was drowning. I was drowning. I was drowning. I was drowning. I was getting very little sleep. And I'm like, I need help. I need more help. So I told Laura Beth, I was like, when can you like be full time? She's like 2 or 3 months because she loved her church so much. She wanted to take such good care of them. I'm like, God, I love you more for this with your loyalty and care. And so she ended up joining, and very quickly we were like, all right, there was full-time hours there. And we keep looking back and we're like, how did I do all of this for so long? And I was like, I don't know. Probably why I was going insane for just a minute. But it makes you like when you are working so much that it like forces your hand, like that's how growth happens, in my opinion. You're not like, when is the right time? It's like growth forces your hand. And growth forced my hand. And I told Laura Beth I would pay her more. And within a couple months, or when I brought her on full time, I remember asking her, I'm like, what is the amount that would allow you to confidently leave your current position and feel really good about where you're at? Just tell me. And I actually asked that months before I offered her the full-time role because I wanted to have a goal in my mind. Like, what would it take for you to do this and be happy about it? And so she shared that number with me. And at the time, I was like, how am I going to do that? But I just like, I was like, okay, I know the value's there. I'm gonna make it happen. Well, when it was time to make the offer, I remember things were just still tight in the business. And I looked at Kyle, and Kyle was like, pay her this amount more. Like, and so we did. And it was so worth it. And I told her, Beth, I'm going to start you here, but I know that we're going to grow and going to grow and going to grow and going to grow. And long story short, the growth forced our hand to actually hiring Katie full time in October of 2024, and then Lacey in November of 2024. And then I brought my mom on part time January of 2025, which is last month. And so I've also delegated more things in the business too. So I have Rose, who is what I call my like life assistant, executive life assistant. Like she does everything from she owns her own facial company that she uses ads to get leads from. So when she's not winning with her Google ads as a one-man band at Unfiltered Aesthetics here in Woodstock, if you need a facial, call Rose. She is the absolute best. Tell her I sent you. And so when she's not doing that, she's helping me. She cleans the house. She does my facials. She helps watch the kids so I can have date night with Kyle. So like I am, you know, have found the people in my life that I trust, and I've asked for help and support and paid them well for it. So my mom is now on part-time. She helps in the morning, just getting the house cleaned up with groceries. Like and she's retired, so it's such a blessing. I get to see my mom every day. She gets compensated for how she's changing our lives over here and keeping things sane. She's picking up the kids as I spend this message. So my kids are getting to build relationships with other people in their life that love them so much too. So the way that I like to think about hiring specifically, I'm going to be honest, I actually like, and the Katie, who's full time, and Lacey, who's part time. She's my events strategist. Or what is Lacey? All right, Lacey, I got to look back at your. It's like events director. I don't know. Lacey is planning the book launch party. I'll tell you that. And then Katie, she helped create the workbook for the program. She helped edit the course for the program. She has helped track our data, and she is also now helping with social media. So Katie does a lot of incredible things, and we're working on getting very specific roles. But we're just in a growth phase where everyone I brought onto the team, I was like, you're going to wear a lot of hats for a little bit while we figure some stuff out. Are you okay with that? And everybody was like, I'm in. But here's what I wanted to tell you. And I pray that this is the case. It may not always be the case. Maybe I'm being a little naive on this, but I only want to have people on my team who want to be here And so Laura Beth proactively reached out to me. Katie proactively reached out to me. Lacey proactively reached out to me. They like made the first move, like, hey, I see what you got here. I'd love to be a part of it. That meant so much to me because it says that they cared enough to say, hey, I see value, I see impact, I see how you're changing these business owners' lives. I want to be a part of it. And so that's actually really important to me. I'm like over here praying. I'm like, Jesus, can I only find people that actually want to work here versus me ever having to post like hiring? Like, I don't know. I don't know. I'll keep you posted on the case study. But so far, that's kind of how it's worked out. And mom was like, I'd love to help out if there's any. Like, I remember mom being like, hey, what can I do? And so it's just been cool that everybody on the team they actually wanted to be a part of it. And so I think what that means for you is like really keep your eyes peeled for people that make comments that are like, I see what you got here. I'd love to be a part of it. Like really put that in your back pocket. Don't overlook that. Because every person that's ever reached out about the business, I I think about that, you know. So that's one thing. The other thing is, let's see, I'd also beyond the team that I have, because right now we have Laura Beth, director of operations, we have Katie, we have Lacey, and then I actually have a few other people. I had recently outsourced social media, but I decided to bring that in-house for this year just because there's so much, like with the podcast, with YouTube, with everything. I wanted to have social media in-house just to have one person who they're really immersed in the messaging. So I did outsource that last year and it went well, but I wanted to have that in-house this year. But I also have now a CFO and a COO, but they're part-time or not even part-time. They're like 1099 contractors. They're essentially fractional. So like I am CMO for my CFO and she's just like we traded. So I knew as the revenue started growing in the company that I was like, I need help knowing what to invest in, where to put money, where to do the right things with money. And there's so many things I thought I knew that I didn't that Hannah really helped me with. So Hannah is my CFO at the Wealth Collaborative. So she and Allie, they're my CFO duo. They helped me with the business. And again, it was like a your hand is forced thing. Like I was voice memoing Hannah because she's one of my closest friends. And I was like, hey, this is where I'm struggling. And she's like, Ashley, that's me. Let me help you. And she was so bought in on paid advertising. We were like, let's do this and let's help each other. And so we have. And then one of my clients who joined my mastermind, Melissa, she actually spoke at Summit, Melissa Franks. She joined my mastermind, did the retreat, did the whole shebang. She got over six figures in return, is super happy. She's like, this is amazing. And I've been so sold on her through working with her, which is so funny because the more I get to learn about the women that I work with, the more I'm like, hey, we should work together. Like also. So it's just been really cool. In fact, so many of my clients are now clients of each other's, which is just one of the other advantages of getting in the room with people who are doing big things is you're like, hey, let's help each other. But Melissa now consults with me for operations stuff. So helping me with scaling, helping me think through team stuff. Like she's my sounding board. Um, and then Laura Beth kind of works directly with Melissa so that I'm not having to like as certain challenges of scaling and team and structure and offers and just operating the business comes into play, Laura Beth gets to work with Melissa instead of having to come to me with all that. So it's just we've really created this team of full-time, part-time, and contract teams to be able to have a bunch of brains. Because here's something I know for dadgum sure, and it is that I am not the smartest person in the room that I'm in. Like I am like I know ads. Like get me. All I want to do is launch ads all day and talk about Google ads, YouTube ads, TikTok ads. I don't know as much these other areas, and so I'm the first to recognize and be humble enough to say I need help. And I believe in paying value for support. And I want to pay as much as I can. In fact, fun fact about me, after I met with my CFO and COO, it was like the Saturday or Sunday. Like the summit ended, y'all, on Thursday. On Friday, I treated my team to a spa day. I said, no matter what the result of the summit is, we worked our absolute fannies off. Took my team. We had brunch. We went to a spa day together. We got facials. We got body scrub massage things. It was kind of interesting. So we did that. It was so great. And then Saturday, I was talking to my CFO and COO. And by Sunday, I was calling everyone on my team and giving them a raise before I took a single bit of that profit from the event, which honestly, after we looked at the expenses, long story short, I'm not even going to go into that. But what I did is I could have like taken money for myself first. And instead, what I did is I poured it right back into my team. Like it wasn't even Monday. I couldn't even wait until Monday to call my team and say, hey, thank you for all your hard work. I know I told you that your compensation would continue to grow. And as a result of that, we just had an incredible week and I'd love to start here. So like all of my team got just thanked. And so that that's what I care about first is them, you know? And so I just think that when you do what you say you're gonna do, I mean, Lacey and Katie have been here for less than a couple of months and like they already got a raise in their compensation. And Laura Beth has gotten like 4 raises and a bonus at this point. Like it's because I'm learning as I go. I'm going. And I know that the not only the compensation will be great, but the flexibility, I'm super flexible. So one thing I want you to think about is money matters for sure. And, so does flexibility and vacation time. Like I offer unlimited paid vacation. So as long as the work's done, go have fun. You can work from anywhere, anytime. As long as the work's done and it's done well, I'm great. Like, let's serve these business owners and these clients. And as long as they are happy and taken care of and loved on and winning, we're good as a team. That's kind of how I've approached it. So, when we think about the summit specifically, let me map out kind of who I have there. And oh, also, I forgot, I have coaches on the team. Hello, Caitlin and Meredith are coaches on the team, and both of them coaches. So, with my programs, basically, I am in there coaching as well on strategy, and my team is also in there coaching too. So, it's just a tag team approach now because I have found people who are such great teachers and also so good at this method that I've developed. And so it's really nice that now it's not just me, it's like it's a whole team approach to coaching our clients, which is great. So they helped at the event. They also help with those coaching calls and getting to work with the clients, which is lovely. And I just have a set rate that I've worked with them on. And same thing, it's like it's going to continue to grow and grow and grow as the business does. Because so much of this is learning as you're going, learning as you're growing. All right, so let's talk about the setup at the event itself. Like what were the team, what were the roles? How did you know to put on an event like that? Because some of you are, I mean, you may be listening and you're like, hey, I'm really curious about putting on an event and couldn't be a bigger advocate for it. It's just so special getting in the room with humans that you love working with. So, all right, here's who I had on my team. I'm going to rapid fire. You ready? So I had Jensen at Rainy Beauty. She did my makeup. Why did I have someone do my makeup? Even though I love doing makeup, I needed to be able to think in that chair each morning before the day began. So I was talking to myself, I was editing and reviewing my notes. So I had Jensen help me with my hair, and then I had Starla help me with my makeup. Oh, sorry, Jensen was hair, Starla was makeup. Um, Stunning by Starla is her Instagram. And basically, they came each morning and walked in around 5:30ish, and we got started. Me and Hannah, my MC, got our hair and makeup done at the same time. And then Rose was the like executive life assistant. So Rose was helping me stay on time. She helped me with changing outfits. She helped me by getting coffee and food and packing my stuff and transporting. Like she was just there for everything. Like making sure I stayed hydrated, giving me gum when your breath stinks. Like, be like, hey, you need to fix your hair. Like she was just there to help me get to my next place and just help. There were so many like little things where it's like, oh no, I don't have a hand for that. And Rose was just there. And obviously she helped make my skin glow because she owns Unfiltered Aesthetics. And so if you live anywhere near Alpharetta or Woodstock or Canton, you need to go see Rose because she did this whole like red light thing, this cool therapy. I mean, there was steam. I can't even explain it. She is why my face was glowing at Summit. So I had help with that. I think having an event. Well, okay, so let me back up. Last year it was just me, Laura Beth, and our moms. So if you think about the summit, I was like the one working with audio visual. I was the one greeting everybody when they came in. I was the one introducing. I was the MC and the host. It was so much. And so it was kind of chaos the first year. It still went well, but it was like I was doing 17 people's jobs. I wasn't able to like watch the speakers or really enjoy their stuff because I was running around like a chicken with my head cut off. But again, I think that scarred me so bad. I was like, I need a team. Just pay for it. Just pay for it. Just pay for the value that the team can bring. And so I was like, I'll never do that again. So, all right, we had that. So I had Meredith, who's one of my coaches. She was side stage manager. So she was helping with like running mics. She was making sure everybody was ready before they go on stage, helping with microphones. So Meredith was side stage. And then Kristen at Yes Events, she worked with Tony Robbins, Russell Brunson, Amy Porterfield, some of the biggest names in the industry. She helped them host virtual and in-person events. So she was like my event strategist. So she helped with some of the messaging and the flow and actually the order of the events so that it ultimately was beneficial for everyone attending and also gave them the right guidance to actually feel like buying at the end if it was the right fit for them. So she was really helpful. And then Macy, obviously at the Sales Girls, she's my sales coach. So she really helped me with my messaging during the actual summit. Now, I'll be honest, I was not the best student. I developed some of my messages a little bit late so that I wasn't able to get as much feedback just because I waited till last minute. So, but Macy is the one that has led me to feel so confident in selling what I have to offer so confidently. And there's just so much I could say about her and the Sales Girls. But she was one of the speakers at the event. And so she was helping because she had just hosted an event herself in the same location. So she was helping with just event strategy stuff as well. And then we had Melissa back there. She was just helping with the whole operations of the event. So was Laura Beth, just the overall operations, which operations, it's like the order of the events, the actual process, the nitty gritty, the steps, like the what happens. That was Laura Beth and Melissa. And then Hannah was the MC. You definitely want an MC in an event, even a virtual event. It could be helpful to have an MC. So I had Rose, Macy, and then obviously I had my family. So I had Kyle. Kyle was like dad duty, but also number one fan. So like Kyle was waking up early, taking the kids to school, coming to the event venue, sitting in the front row, and then going to get the kids and then taking it back home and doing bath time, bedtime, the whole shebang. So he deserves a shout out as well. And then my mom and Janine, they helped with I honestly don't know. I didn't see them very much because I was doing a million things, but they were helping with setup. They were helping just with lunch and check-in and just making sure everybody was good as like food and coffee stuff go on. So that was great. And then Lacey, so Lacey Hunter, she helped plan the actual event, like the catering and the signage and the audio visual and the booking and like paying for things. Like she ordered the books, she got them delivered, she delivered the workbook, she did the setup, like she like actually made the event happen, like logistics wise. There's so much more, but that's what she did. And then Katie helped with audio visual. So she was working with the audio team to make sure they had the right slides and the right images and the everything on screen. And I'll be honest, it wasn't Katie's fault at all. There were definitely some glitches with the audio stuff when I was, but you learn as you go. You know what I'm saying? So she did an exceptional job, and Katie was just and Lacey too. They were just chatting with people if they had questions, because then at the end of the event, when there was a way to work together, like they were talking with people, helping them, understand what the programs were like. So they were just there answering questions. That's kind of the setup of the team. So we had audio visual, we had operations, we had I mean like Lacey got the gift bags for the speakers and like helped me do the notes to the speakers um and help like get the awards printed that we had on stage, like all the logistics stuff, I would say. So there's like event setup, there's event strategy, there's messaging. I was advertising, in case you're wondering. I did all my own ads. Do I still do them? Yes, I love doing my ads. Eventually one day I'm sure I'll offboard that, but it's gonna be like it's gonna kill me because I love it so much. But I did all the advertising and filling the room. I did a lot of the emails. Like I actually do almost all the email. Laura Beth does like logistics emails, but I do like the messaging. Like I write my own emails. I do my own podcast. I do my own podcast. Somebody, oh, pray for me. So yeah, that was kind of the team. I'm looking to make sure I didn't miss anything. Katie, mom, setup crew, hair, makeup, Macy, Rose, Kristen. Okay, I'm missing someone probably. And when you listen, like I love you. I wrote everything down, I think. But so yeah, that's the process with the event. There's all these different pieces it's definitely a teamwork makes the dream work situation. But what I can tell you is it was just so worth it having a team work together for one mission. And everyone was so bought in. Everyone was so just calm in the chaos because behind the scenes, it was wild because it's a live event. Like things are changing in real time. And they're like, oops, didn't think of that. And so you just learn as you go. And every event that we do is going to get better and better and better for you, for the team, for everything. And so I think the last thing I want to leave you with when it comes to your team is It really just matters that you have the right person. Skills can be developed, but the person you can't, you're going to have a hard time changing. Finding the person that cares about the mission, finding the person that will go above and beyond proactively, that's a different type of human. And you know that because you're probably that person, the person that will do whatever it takes and just loves bringing value and helping change the world like that. Find that person. And if you have red flags about the person, just don't hire them. You can pray for them, you can guide them on the right way, but don't hire them on your team unless they're the person that sees the vision. I really value and reward loyalty. And I just feel like if you're going to say that, do it. So I take care of my team. We have like a wardrobe stipend because I want them to feel fabulous at any event. Like there's so many little things that it's like, how can you love on your people, incentivize your people for success? I mean, I'm working on all kinds of stuff just to continue to grow this company so that our clients win more than ever, and so does the team. All right. So if you have other questions about the team stuff, please reach out to me just like Emily did. I'm so glad she shared this. I hope this is helpful as you think about your team. Oh my gosh, I forgot someone. Boom. All right. So Hannah Huber. She is, and let me make sure I said her last name right as I pull this up. So Hannah, one thing I didn't talk about. Oh, and I also forgot to tell you, like as far as like team stuff, Laura Beth, one of the things she did was get the website ready for the summit, for the offers, for thank you pages, like everything. So she helped to get the logistics of the whole purchasing process. Like Laura Beth, I would say, kind of owned the purchasing flow from how do they get started, then onboarding and getting everybody set up. So that's one of the other roles Laura Beth did. But then yes, so Hannah Huber. So Hannah helped me. So like I told you, I built my own Kajabi website, but at a certain point, I wanted an updated template. Well, I bought a Kajabi template, and then Hannah helped install that template into my Kajabi, not only for my actual website and all my landing pages, but also for my course. So now everything is seamless and on brand with this new beautiful template. And so Hannah is the go-to Kajabi template person. She's a virtual assistant. She's wonderful. Tell her I sent you. But yeah, she really helped me. I guess I can give you her Instagram. Let me see. Or her email. I'm just going to give you her email for now. Hannah Huber. So it's Hannah Huber VA at gmail.com. But yeah, she really helped us get the templates and everything ready so that the actual course was good to go. So yeah, she's wonderful. I mean, it just it takes a team. And you can't and don't hire everybody initially because you can't, pay 15 people's different situations when you get started. But the goal is that when your paid advertising works so well that you have the demand and your biggest stressor is not how to get clients. It's like, do I have the capacity to scale and grow the team? Like that's what I want for you to force your hand. Now, the last caveat I'll say is the way that happened is I invested in the team before I was ready. I didn't invest in 20 people, but I did say, okay, there are things in the business that I should not be doing, and it's preventing me from scaling. And I know I can help more clients and grow the team and impact their life and their family's life when I can kind of get some of this stuff off my plate. So I'm in my delegation era. I definitely get help with Instacart. I get help with, like I said, cleaning with the house. And one of my goals for the business for me is that Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays in 2025, I am not working. I am with the kids, or even on Fridays, if I'm doing just some self-care and taking some me time, getting a massage, just going to the gym, seeing a friend, having coffee, like I want to, I want to be able to scale this company without working 16-hour days. And I know it's possible, and we're getting very, very close. But I just want you to know sometimes you're going to be in a growth period. Sometimes you're going to feel like, how do people sustain this? Well, you can't forever or you'll pass out. But there is a point where I feel like it's okay to say this is a season, and you create the system and the machine that allows you to get to a place where you still get to do what you love and it doesn't drive you, it costs you a lot of sleep. You know what I mean? So, like, one of the things, and I don't know how this works. So if you're listening to this and you know this, like one thing is I did the math. And if you think about all the Instacart groceries and food delivery stuff, like I'm paying so much for groceries for these two kids and me and Kyle. And I'm like, I wonder if there's someone who could like meal prep for me and I buy the food and I pay them. And they could just have some stuff that I can warm up that's fresh. Like that's my next move. I'm like, the food stuff is where I gotta grow as a mom and a wife. Like I just want to have food ready. I don't want to DoorDash all the time. So I'm trying to figure out either easy meals or where I could have someone just help me with some of the meal prepping, just so some stuff can be prepared. So That's where I'm at. I'm learning as I go. I'm so grateful for you even listening to this podcast episode. And again, if you would like to be a part of the book launch crew, it would just mean so much to me. If you will just email info@ashleybrock.com, book launch crew will tell you how you can be a part of it. And the challenge, the Win with Paid Ads challenge, we actually kicked off today as I record this. And so if you so happen to listen to it on Monday, February 3rd, you're good. But otherwise, go ahead and register for the next one. And I can't wait for you to advertise your name, make it rain, grow your team, and live the life that you created your business for in the first place, and to feel proud of you for investing in you, in your business, and new skills like paid advertising. So go advertise your name, make it rain, and I will see you on the next episode.